right, you ready? Call the meeting back to order. Do I have a motion to come out of closed session?
Motion.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice President Webb, seconded by Director Washington. All in favor?
Aye.
We are out of closed session at 6:10. Okay, public report on action taken in closed session. There is no reportable action. And at this time, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order for the 6 o'clock session. And public comments, and I will dispense with the reading of the statute, but let the record show that we're opening the floor up to public comments. So if anybody would like to address the board, please come to the podium. Okay, and there are no public comments. So let's move on to consent calendar. Have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the calendar. Motion.
Okay, have a second?
A second.
Motion is made by Vice President Webb, seconded by Director Washington. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, new business. Adopt resolution number 2019-1, amending the travel expense policy of the administrative handbook. Presenter Steve Perez, General Manager.
Yeah, this section, or this item was brought forward to make some corrections because of the limitations on the amounts of revenue that can be paid out to the directors for attending various conferences and the like. The change reflects the required attendance to these types of events that would normally count towards the amounts that a director would be otherwise held to. For instance, a director had to attend a board meeting of the Lahontan board in Bishop. That was a requested attendance meeting, and because of that, the board member should not be penalized in doing so for business. For voluntary attendance, there's a cap, but for direct required attendance at one, there should not be. And these changes reflect that so that it doesn't penalize the board member.
Motion we move on into resolution 2019-1.
A second.
Motion is made by Director Glennon, seconded by Director Washington. This is a roll call vote.
President Greg Wood,
Yes?
Vice President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Director Gregory Washington,
Yes.
Director Byron Glennon,
Yes.
Director Ben Stewart.
Yes.
And it carries 5-0. New business 2, authorize the purchase of products and/or services for the RCSD wastewater treatment plant rehabilitation project listed in Appendix A of the memorandum from Kennedy Jenks dated July 16th, 2019. Be provided sole source with no equal. Presenter Steve Perez, General Manager.
This is in regard to the wastewater treatment plant. As you're aware, it is recommended that we move on a sole source, although many times when you sole source, you want to question why you're doing it. The wastewater treatment plant, with all the moving parts that it has, in short, we have half of a plant today, and we'll have the other half of a plant when it's completed. What we want to ensure is that it's compatible with one another. The working parts work together, and the maintenance parts that we have to stock aren't 15 different types, that they all match, meld together for a smooth, efficient operation. And for that reason, in short, it's recommended that the sole source move forward as we are moving forward with the construction bidding and the like.
Do you have a motion on new business too?
I do have a question though.
Okay.
What is this gonna cost us? Does this roll into their overall project number?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
definitely.
Okay, it's already there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is just clarifying that they will be the one doing it, but it's already been addressed?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got the breakdown here if you'd like to see it.
No, yeah, if it's there, we'll see it, but I just want, this is not a new number coming to us.
Okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we accept the sole source, sole source.
This was part of the presentation that was done at Lahontan too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
This would all be tied together.
They mentioned it,
They
yes.
mentioned it at the fellow
Right,
that gave a report for them, the engineer.
right.
And this is also stemming back to the workshop that we had with Kennedy Jenks in regards to gearing up for the bidding and construction phase of this project, and the request from this board that they also act as, or at least consider acting as a construction managers of the project, to where they're able to, you know, they designed it. They should be the ones specifying the equipment that needs to be in there, and and how it's built so it's done properly. So, we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we approve it.
Second.
Motion was made by Vice President Webb, seconded by Director Stewart. Any further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0. New business 3, award and authorize staff to execute a contract with Fieldman, Rolap and Associates for financial advisory services for the purpose of financing the upgrades to the wastewater treatment plant. Presenter Steve Perez, General Manager.
The district has determined that we need the services of a registered municipal financial advisor to assist in the acquisition of our financing. As you're aware, we're going out to bid for the wastewater treatment plant, and at the same time, we need to get our finances in order. And in order to do so, an RFQ went out, and we had 4 respondents. Of those 4, 2 clearly didn't meet the qualifications, and 2 did. Of the 2 that did, 1 was clearly higher than the second one. And as it comes out, the one that is being recommended, which is the Fieldman, Rolap and Associates, is the #1 financial advisor in the state of California in the financial arena. They have been dubbed the #1 in the top 10. So it's with Brad's report and his analysis of all 4 of the respondents to the RFQ that he recommends that the firm of Fieldman, Rolap and Associates be dubbed to take on the financial advisor position.
I would also like to add that the Finance Committee, consisting of myself and Byron, met with staff on Monday, and the Finance Committee also recommends that we approve Fieldman, Rolap and Associates as well.
I might add also, what a financial advisor does is not simply go out and find somebody for the district to borrow the money from. What they do is they do a financial analysis of the district, and they advise the district whether or not, what vehicle would be the right one to take on for the financing, how much you want to finance, what are the impacts of the financing, should you use some of your reserves, if so, how much. So they're going to do an analysis that will allow your board to say, this is the vehicle that we want to take. Now you can go out and they'll recommend various
Companies,
firms
firms.
to look at and what they offer. So it's more than just looking at borrowing.
Steve, and when we spoke about this, the fee for them, that's rolled into, when we go out and get the overall package.
It'll be rolled into the financing, yes.
Okay.
They will not be able to be a part of the financing at all.
They're just bringing the best
Excluded
suitors
from-
forward.
Right. So they're not going to be recommending to the board something that they will benefit from.
I make a motion to approve the company as listed.
Thank you.
Motion made by Vice President Webb, seconded by Director Glennon. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, director reports, comments, future agenda items. Start with Vice President Webb.
Yeah, I do have a comment here from Alexa. She's from the, what does she actually do?
Employment, Economic Employment Alliance, something like that.
And I have her card here if you like it. She's been the one working on some of the projects. She went to another meeting, but she wanted me to share with you folks that they're still working on bringing a bank to Rosamond. And I guess Alexa, has been in talk with the two developers about bringing shopping centers to Rosamond. Also, that Rosamond and Cal City were the only two communities up here about fiber optics and broadband. I guess she's also working on that. She apologized for not being here, but apparently there's another meeting going over at Humboldt Hall about the biz grants, so she had to attend that. But her card's here if you'd like to get the information. But she did say those three things are being looked at. I was at a meeting with her with the bank about 3 weeks, a month ago.
About 3 or 4 weeks.
And then she's working kind of, that could be a good idea for the community. The shopping center things is brand new, never heard about that one. But anyway, contact information, those things she's working on. Something else I saw, and I'm a little concerned. I was reading the paper, I had no more supporting information. But I guess on 2 separate incidents, our deputies in this community have been assaulted. I don't know how severe they are, but in the newspaper said, assault on a deputy. When you see these folks out here, just let them know thank you, because you know what? Tough job, man. And I don't know if it's something as simple as a pushback or whatever, but it's tough, and they don't have many numbers out here. So when you see the deputies out here, just tell them thank you for that. Thanks, sir.
Okay, Director Washington.
Yeah, I don't have anything tonight.
Stuart.
I wanted to add one comment to the report you had about Lahontan. I was impressed with how they were impressed with our project. And specifically the comments that were made by one of the Lahontan directors, also the APAC director who lives in Rosamond. His comments were short, but he hit on 2 main points. One, we had a problem that we needed to solve. 2, there were several ways of solving it, and we picked the most financially sound way to do it for our customers and have a resolution for it with an added benefit of being able to claim some water credit from it, which is almost like getting a benefit from something you had to do anyway, and now you're getting an extra benefit from it. But impressed with how they were impressed with our program. I'd never been to a hot meeting before. In fact, jokingly, they said their next one is in Tahoe, if they move around. And I mentioned to, I don't know if I mentioned to Greg or not, I said, can we find a reason for us to have to be in the one in Lake Tahoe next time they meet? But there's no reason for us to have to be at that meeting.
I'd also like to follow up. The Lahontan meeting was very interesting. And the one thing that I found very enriching was the fact that we sat there and we listened to other reports being given, and the board, they do their voting differently, where they actually poll each board member to get their yes or no vote. And they would say go through the formalities, telling the nice presentation and being polite and everything. But when it came to the vote, they would say yes, 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 yes. But when they got to our project, they didn't just say yes. Every general manager update.
I think Steve pretty much covered it all. I just wanted to mention that in the Lahontan meeting, for those board members that weren't there, the Lahontan board wants to see more of this type of project in the state of California. So they were excited that this was going on and the beneficial use of the water.
Very encouraging. Consultant Finance, Brad's not here. Director of Public Works update, Rob.
Yeah, the week of July 9th, Public Works staff completed our annual safety training. That includes confined space, entry and rescue, HAZWOPER, which is hazardous waste operations and emergency response, right to know law, forklift safety, and first aid and CPR. That's obviously something we take very seriously here at the district. So once a year, all the Public Works staff goes in and completes the training. It's a long week, but it's very important to stay up to date on that. On top of that, we repaired 25 service line leaks so far this month. We removed graffiti at 10 different locations throughout town, delivered 260 non-payment notices that resulted in 24 shutoffs. We've cleaned and treated over 10,000 feet of sewer mains.
Preparing this thing, with the consolidation. But I know Brock's, I don't know, John, how much he's been involved. I give you guys both props on that, because you guys have been working on that. Now we see how important it can be. I know the mutual aid type of a thing. Did we ever get up to Tony yet to see what they had going on and not going on yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
We did contact them to see if there was anything that we could do for them.
Kind of what went good for them.
Right.
But both of you guys have been working that thing down there with the region. What's it called, Brock?
The mutual aid agreement, Director Stewart's also involved in that. So we're developing a mutual aid agreement between different agencies within the Antelope Valley so we can all assist each other. In addition to that, we are participating in the Kern County Multi-Jurisdiction Hazard Mitigation Plan update, which allows us access to FEMA funding in the event of an emergency. Last week was the second meeting up in Bakersfield at the Emergency Operations Center, and now we're moving forward on a risk assessment for the entire system. So we're modeling out the potential damages for our district in certain scenarios. Fortunately, it looks like we're in a pretty safe space compared to some other agencies in Kern County.
As a matter of fact, you guys are on top of that scary, because something goes big. Remember we were talking about, they all have whatever equipment we have to loan to someone else. We have this thing available. That becomes really important if your whole communities are up for it and what we help. And that's pretty heads up that you guys have been working. Doing your part to stay involved in that thing. Even with the radios, right? We're going to get radios.
Yes.
Communication radios.
Yeah.
And talk with all their units, correct?
Yes, and it was in this year's budget. We actually just got a revised quote for another set that's compatible with the other agencies in the Antelope Valley, so that will probably go to the committee soon and then to the entire board for approval.
Heads up for you guys on that.
When you, one of the worst things you could face is the lack of communications at a time of a disaster. In most plans that come together, communications is tried to be addressed. And I think it's probably just as important as anything that ever is discussed. And if you guys could nail that down and keep that in the back of your mind, because I don't know how many events that I've been to that we couldn't talk. And that's a problem.
That's heads up, you guys. Thank you very much.
The other thing is, I'd like to add to your question about Trona, and John didn't get to answer, but he has been in contact with folks out there, and basically they told him, we don't need water. We got more water we can deal with. We need bodies. They needed.
Back in the corner, he says that the news was kind of focusing on Ridgecrest. Ridgecrest was fine.
Yeah.
Flint was a grease fire.
Yeah.
I guess all the big factories out there, they were closed down and whatever, and that's the thing, so whenever you get a chance to go to Greenwood, I think we can only get better. But another thing there too, we may not have a lot, but we should be willing to spend a little bit we got. Because if you have nothing, everything looks like a lot is going to bring it forward. So, and you guys can, that probably be a good debriefing for us as a whole, to find out what yeah, but Kona, this guy said that everything focused on the express. They had gaps in the street, and they had no power, no nothing. And
They had no water, no power, no gas for over a week.
yeah, and everything is still focused on Ridgecrest.
Yeah.
So anyway, and we know how big a small community, sometimes you get overlooked, so maybe we can learn a lot from them. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. Director of Administration, is that all you had, bro?
Yes, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Director of Administration, Lizette, she is not here. And I don't know if our acting person over here had anything to say. No. Thank you, Deanna. Before we adjourn, I just want to take a moment to thank General Manager and all staff on how they handled things during the 2 earthquakes. Steve wasn't even in town, he was at a conference, but yet he was on the phone with me and on the phone with John, and right after it happened, and everything was being coordinated here on this end, and after the big one hit on Friday night, it was the same thing. Everybody was out checking the facilities and reporting back. So the communication was excellent, the response was excellent, and thank you one and all for your due diligence in taking care of things.
The first one, I made the calls just to make sure that the guys were moving. And on the second one, when I did call, they were already moving.
Which tells us everyone should get prepared as a whole. You know, we were in a good place because I was thinking about things falling on top of us. But make sure your families are prepared, because if they're okay, you'll be okay. Family's not good, you're not gonna be good. So that's something, let's make sure all your folks, they come to work again, so let's make sure that the things they have to do their job, and they get their families taken care of first, because that could be a good, I mean, wherever you're opening one to family.
All right, and with that, a motion for adjournment. Okay, motion made by Director Stewart, second by Vice President Webb. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned at 6:50.